Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Shaka's back for more. He survived a bomb yesterday.
Just.
Gab Marcotti's with us as well, and Stevie is also with us. He will not be trying to bomb.
No, seriously, I was driving home yesterday thinking, what did I just do?
Your mouth on fire.
Hey, no, seriously. So, most pepper sauces, I know, I eat spicy food growing up. The initial kick is initial punch in the mouth and then it dies down. This thing just kept on punching. Like, and not just punching harder. So you have it, and it gives you a whack. And then, the longer it just gets worse.
How long did it last?
By the time we finished extra time, it was starting, so 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then it started to calm down. But as I say, you take it, and it goes up for a while. And then eventually, honestly, I've never seen anything like it.
The problem is with us, once the live show is over, there are other things we need to do where we do still record segments. So we didn't really think that one through.
Yeah, we did. So if you see in a segment where Kay and I are crying, that's the bomb.
Anyway, there we go. That's it. No de bomb tonight, don't worry. Okay, Stevie, if Liverpool sell Hendo and Fabinho and replace their entire midfield for the coming season, what should be the realistic expectations from the squad?
Competing for the title. Absolutely. Simple, straightforward.
And if they don't finish top two, Stevie will have the bomb.
Yeah. No, definitely. When you sign 3 quality players like that, and you add them to the forward line, and then you have to expect that the defence isn't going to let nearly 50 goals in again, then you should be competing. Yeah.
Okay. Shaka, if Onana makes the move to United, do you see him having the potential to become #1 in the world?
Certainly has potential. There's a long way to go yet. I think, as much as I've sang his praises, right now I think Courtois is the best in the world. I still think there's some distance between Onana and Courtois. But potentially, yes, he's at a club that will give him a platform to continue to grow. Manchester United fans expect them to be competing at the highest level. So if he produces those kinds of performances at the highest levels with the consistency that you saw during his time at Inter Milan, and I include the Champions League final in that, then yeah, he'd be in the discussion. But there's a gap to that. I know what you're going to say.
No, you don't.
So do I.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Go on.
Do you think that De Gea at United, his performances have been undervalued? Because De Gea has won the Golden Gloves for the most clean sheets in the Premier League. He's United's Player of the Year how many times?
A lot.
I'm just saying, is there a chance that he's been sort of underplayed a little bit?
The short answer to that is yes, he has. I think the reason for that has been that at times he's made some errors at some key moments. But I think the biggest contributor to that is just that United have been poor. And while we talk about, the best in the world, and here I am talking about Courtois as an example, it was on the back of, not the season just gone, but the season previous, where Real Madrid won the Champions League. When we talk about Manuel Neuer or Peter Schmeichel, we are talking about great goalkeepers in great teams. Manchester United, we've not been able to describe Manchester United as great for quite some time, and I think that has contributed to the undervaluing of David De Gea.
Gab?
Yeah, if Mark Ogden were here, his head would explode to hear you guys undervaluing David De Gea. So first of all, David De Gea was far and away the highest paid goalkeeper in the world. United asked him, that's why they asked him to take a pay cut. You're not undervalued if you're paid more than every single other. No, it is his fault because he signed the contract and he was expected to perform to that level. Not just is he undervalued, does it mean he's rubbish? No. The Golden Gloves, which is this newfangled thing, which I know didn't exist in your time, Stevie, at least I hope not.
That's correct.
That's not a thing. Most clean sheets, what is this? Like some nerd in a basement inventing a meaningless stat? If you want to go down the rabbit hole of stats and analytics and see where David De Gea ranks, for example, in terms of shot stopping, the only people who were worse than him last season were Southampton's 2 goalkeepers, among guys who played a minimum number of minutes. If you want to go down De Gea in big games, I think most people would have had them winning the Europa League if not for his performance in that semi-final.
How did he get voted Man United's Player of the Year 5 years out of 10?
That's great on a bad United team.
And you're saying go and ask Ogden. Ogden's a Man United fan, and the Man United fans voted for it. So explain that one.
Look, I don't believe in democratic votes. As you know, I believe in an oligarchy of the enlightened ruling everybody. So I'll just give you my opinion. I can also bring up his performance in the FA Cup final, if you like, which they might not have won anyway, but he certainly didn't help. So to go and talk about, I think, an undervalued De Gea right now, when he doesn't have the humility to accept the pay cut and continue as their number one starter, we'll see where it goes. As far as Onana is concerned, Inter are very close to announcing potential replacement, and they think they're very close to having a deal for Jan Sommer in place from Bayern Munich, and so that would make them more likely to deal Onana to United, but they still going to have to come up with the fee, and if the money that they spend on the fee, that's money that they're not going to spend on a center forward unless they manage to sell Maguire or some of these other guys that aren't part of their plans.
He hates De Gea, didn't he?
But when I say De Gea undervalued, I'm not talking about last season. I don't think he was good at all last season. To Gab's point, I don't think he's been that great for the last couple of seasons. So I totally understand Manchester United not wanting to pay him the kind of money that they were. I totally understand that. But I just feel that David De Gea's exit has been met with, well, and I gather that this may not be a majority, it may be a narrow minority, but, well, people saying he wasn't that good anyway. Which I don't agree with. I think the last couple of years he's not been at all great, but I think the body of his work has been undervalued.
Okay. Gab, who finishes in the top 4 in Serie A, and which team that finished in the top 4 this past season is most likely to miss out next season?
All right. So this being Serie A and basically most teams having no money and everything still being up in the air, and I know that this is being recorded, I reserve the right to revise my view because everything can change by the time the transfer window shuts. I would expect Inter and Milan to both be back in the top 4 next season. I would expect Napoli, although it's not going to be easy if they hang on to Osimhen, and if Rudy Garcia has the impact, I think it's going to be, they'll be nowhere near as good, but I think they can finish top 4 as well. And so that leaves one spot for Lazio, who, depending who they lose, obviously they finished second last season. Juve, who are going to lose some big pieces, but, they've got good young players, I think, coming through. And Roma and Jose Mourinho, of course. I'm going to lean Juve out of those 3 for the simple reason that history shows that in Serie A, if you back Juve, you're usually not far wrong. But again, I reserve my right to go and revise this because we got 6 weeks to go before the transfer window closes.
Yeah, Gab with the disclaimer there.
Yeah, can I just say, Gab knows the show well enough.
Yeah.
We will edit that part out. Where he puts his disclaimer, we'll edit that part out. Yeah.
Even though he said it 6 times.
Yeah, no chance.
breath,
No chance that's making the final cut. No chance.
It's so true. It's so true. Best centre-back pairing in the Premier League. Botman Cher at Newcastle, Gabriel Saliba at Arsenal, Martinez Varane at United, Akanji Diaz at City.
Stones and Diaz.
Stones is a midfielder.
No, he's not.
So he's a defensive midfielder.
I'd say Botman and Shaka were a surprise. They were fantastic, the 2 of them all season. I'd have to go with Stones and Diaz, though.
Okay.
Stones is a midfielder.
No,
Stones is a midfielder.
No, he's not.
It's Kanji and Diaz in this version.
No. Stones and Diaz.
No, it's not one of them editing jobs. We can't edit that part.
Manchester Drake didn't now ask that.
Manchester Drake. My son went to
All right, if it's got to be a Kanji and Diaz,
Yeah.
I'm going to go Botman and Shaw then.
Do you reckon Stevie knows who Drake is? You know who Drake is?
He was a sailor, wasn't he? Steady.
All right. Next question. Gab, will there be any big
Rubbish anyway, I know that.
Will there be any big outside investment into Italian football this summer with the likes of Inter looking for new owners or ground being broken on stadium construction?
Well, as far as stadium construction, of course, both Inter and Milan have their own projects. That's ongoing. That's dealing with bureaucracy and.
Oh,
Gab just fell asleep.
We've edited Gab already.
yeah.
I need to add. My son and daughter went to see Drake. Otherwise, I'll get it.
Your son and daughter.
Yes.
All right. Well, Stevie, we'll get him a little Drake
Went to see
playlist
the-
on
went
his
to see
way
the
home,
cinema.
and Bad Bunny, who he also doesn't know. We
Nah,
discovered
no
tonight.
chance TV know who Bad Bunny.
No, he does
None.
not. But we will, don't worry, we will make sure that he does by the next show. Okay, seeing pictures of Messi at Publix grocery shopping, do you remember the first time anyone recognised you and wanted your picture? Were you irritated or did you get a kick out of it? And who were you, as a fan, stoked to get a picture with?
I remember being embarrassed. I landed at Liverpool at the station. The first time I'd gone home, and I came back on the train, and I got in a cab, and the cabbie asked me if I'd signed for Liverpool recently. And I was too embarrassed to tell him I did. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was all shy. I was all shy.
Did you get any pictures of when you were a fan, when you were younger, with somebody?
No.
What about a musician or somebody?
Didn't have a camera, couldn't afford a camera. Didn't I? In fact, not many people had cameras then.
You've met Rod Stewart and people like this. Did you not get a picture with them?
No. Fanboy.
No.
Have a picture?
Not
Yeah,
your-
no.
not your style.
Embarrassing. Well, you know what?
All right.
It's a pain in the neck's not the right way to put it, but you know when people want 40s and all that, it's like it's all right, and in some ways it's really nice, but you know you wouldn't ask somebody to take a picture with you. I wouldn't ask somebody to take a picture with you.
The only person I asked to take a photo with, and I was here, Mario Kempes. And I make no apology for that. So 78, World Cup 78 was my first, I was 9 years old, first recollection of a World Cup, and Mario Kempes, for those who don't know, was leading scorer. Argentina won the tournament, and that is kind of my first like real big memory of World Cup football. And then coming here and seeing Mario in the halls, and for those who don't, well, Mario is just the nicest man you'll ever meet. You never believe that this is a man who won the World Cup and was lauded the way that he had been. It's the only photo I remember asking anybody for.
I remember actually. I remember England were playing Scotland in the old home internationals, right? Used to play every year tournament. And England were training at the football pitch across from the school I used to go to. So we found out, so at break time we all ran down. And I remember getting some autographs, right? And after I got back to school, I was like, what am I going to do with these? I was like, why did he even get these? I was...
I loved it even as a kid, Steve.
Aye, I just binned them. I was like, what am I going to do with these?
What am I going to do with these?
What am I going to do? That's it, I didn't matter.
Gab, have you ever had that happen to you as a celebrity journalist? Get stopped for a picture?
Well, yes. I would define myself as a celebrity journalist, but yes, this show and YouTube, you know, well, we're big. Yes. In fact, I name drop here, but I had lunch with a fellow journalist and a very young Cesc Fabregas, recently retired Cesc Fabregas, many years ago in North London, and we get stopped on the street, and the guy was with, I don't want to embarrass him, but he does what I do, basically. And, you know, the fan says, oh, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? And so Cesc, assuming the picture's going to be with him, and he'd been in the Arsenal first team for a couple of years and whatnot, he kind of starts posing, and the guy then hands his I think this is before camera phones, I think it was an actual camera, gives it to Cesc Fabregas, and he has a picture taken with me and my colleague. And he's like, you don't mind Cesc, do you? And I don't know if he was taking the mick out of him or what. But yeah, he loved it.
Oh, that's good.
Just to end then, Gab, did you get any nice snaps with somebody very famous on the way off?
When I was a kid, football-wise, I got super excited. I had my picture taken with an old teammate of Stevie, one Kenny Dalglish, and also Spilio Altobelli, the legendary Inter forward who scored the third goal in the 1982 World Cup final. And I also met Slash. It was a couple years later, and I was super, super excited for that.
Well, we're going to end it there. Me and my friends once saw Shaka Hislop in a pub in London, and we all got a photograph with him.
I don't recall.
And I have the proof. One day I'll bring it in.
Yeah, I'm denying that.
Tell you what, you've done well to find Shaka when you're out. He's usually not. He's usually heading away.
Let's wrap this up.
He's usually heading away.
Let's wrap this up.
Time to go.
Well, you
That's the
can't
latest
see
in
him.
Liverpool time. We'll be back tomorrow to do
Must
it
have
all
tipped
over
over
again.
him.
I know where you were, Shaq.
Oh, good.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.